So hi everybody, I'm George from Ariadne. We are providing AI-based enabled passenger analytics. Our mission is to provide curb to gate analytics. So somebody arrives at the airport, we track from outdoors to indoors. We work with 4 verticals. We are in more than 20 countries with more than 200 customers, and we track 700 million trajectories. So we work with several airports, Munich Airport, San Diego Airport, Ontario here, and Auckland Airport, and others. Who here is from an airport? Just out of curiosity? Okay. What do you think about AI? Do you think AI is going to dominate how airports are doing operations in the next 5 years? I don't see hands. I don't see hands. You're, okay, 50-50. The way we see an airport is, for passengers, is a transportation hub. For a concessionaire, is a real estate. And for airlines, is a platform for revenue generation. The problem is, when I go to an airport, I can practically do only 3 things. One is queued at the security or check-in area, wait at the gate for my flight, or I can do the more interesting part, which is dwell at the commercial area, buy or have a lunch. We are helping airports to increase this middle part and reduce the other 2. Increased queues is negative experience for the passengers. Revenue generation is bring by increased dwell time, and waiting at the gate is just cost for airport. Current solutions that they try to forecast how passengers are going to move inside an airport. What they do is they just check how many flights are there. They assume that every airline is fully booked. They guess what time the passenger is going to arrive. And now they estimate how many passengers are going to pass through security area every hour. This is a big problem because the distribution of passengers arriving at the airport may look like this. You may have passengers arriving at the airport in a span of 1 hour. And if your security capacity is above this, you will not have any problem. But if passengers arrive in a span of 20 minutes, now you have serious queues. The case is you have queue times when passengers arrive together. Maybe you are managed to correct this by opening other security lanes, but now you have passengers congested at your gate. And even if you solve this, you may have passengers congested at the commercial area. There are 3 curves that you need to flatten, as we learned during COVID times, not 1. And this is what we are trying to optimize. There are 4 cases. One is, okay, I don't care, I don't do anything. The other one is, I have congested gates. The other is, I have congested queues. And the 4th, which is the optimal, is I have passengers coming to my airport. They have lunch or dinner. I generate some non-aeronautical revenue from this as well. Our solution is, first, we have sensors that we call them surveyors. I have one in my pocket. And we have also installed here at the event. What they do is they can send signals emitted by phone. This is an example from San Diego Airport. Everybody carries a phone. Our phones are emitting signals. We can estimate the distance from the phone to our sensors. And by estimating the distance from multiple angles, we can multilaterate, we can triangulate the location of the phone. This enables us to see how many people are at the event, 3,452, and how many people visited our booth, 119. Now we have another module, which is our AI module, that is accurately forecasting what is going to happen. So it can tell you how many visitors you are going to have, how many passengers you are going to have at the airport next day, or the entire next week, every hour. The surveyor, the data from the surveyor are fed into our Prophet, so it establishes a virtuous cycle. In AI community, this is called reinforcement learning. So it's a continuous learning approach. You take actions like better employee scheduling or better marketing. You know where and when you should play any campaign, any marketing campaign, or better leasing prices for your concessionaires. Then this is fed up and we are constantly improving. Why is this important? Few success stories. This is from San Diego Airport. Imagine somebody arriving at the airport by the shuttle bus, because they left their car in the parking area. They went through inside the airport. They saw an advertisement. They went for check-in. They dropped the luggage. They went through security. Now they have experienced some queue time already, and there is some queue time associated with these passengers. They go to concessionaire area, so they may have some lunch, and they go to the gate, take their flight, and they go. Normally, all of this data, you may even have this data. Most of the airports, they are quantifying this, they are measuring this. The problem is that this data don't speak to each other, they are siloed. But with our solution, the trajectory can be the key to connect all of these tables. Why? Because now I can see the distribution of passengers based on the time they spend at the airport. I can select those who spend the most time, more than 2 hours, for example, at the airport, and I can estimate what is going to be the increased revenue if I manage to reduce the queue times for this passenger. In that case, it was 2,000 sales per day for $14 each passenger. I can see how often the passengers are using the bathroom, and instead of cleaning the bathroom in regular intervals, time doesn't make the bathroom dirty. People do, right? I can trigger an alert every time that, let's say, 100 passengers are using the bathroom, and I can clean the bathrooms in intervals based on their use. So I can reduce the cleaning intervals without making the bathrooms more dirty. And this appeared to save for San Diego Airport $150,000 up to $450,000 per year, only just by this small use case. I can estimate how long the people are waiting at the concessionaires, Panda Express. I can look what is the effect of waiting times when I install a self-ordering kiosk. And now I can experience what is going to be the increased revenue by the self-ordering kiosk. So practically what we did here is we calculate the ROI for the self-ordering kiosk before we even install it. Or I can negotiate better leasing price for the asset. So as I mentioned, an airport can be a real estate, right? Take as an example, this store is 100 square meters, 1,000 square feet, 327,000 US dollars per year. It generates 7 million. And if this asset was an online store, by the number of impressions it gets in the online world, in the physical world is the passers-by, so how many people pass in front of the store. The turn-in rate, so how many people enter the store. I can quantify that if I provide, if I double the leasing price, the store is still profitable compared to their online world. So it is far underpriced. You can visit our booth, it's E34. If you don't know how to find it, scan this QR code and it will take you to our booth through Ariadne, so you can experience also our product. Thank you very much, and see you in our booth.
Take a seat, my friend. Thanks for that. You really flew through those slides.
Yeah, I was a bit nervous, sorry.
No, you did well. So I guess my question is, you're making a lot of, assumptions upon this data. How reliable is all this, Georgios? You know what I mean? You have some very specific outcomes to this stuff, but it's absolutely proven. Is it all those assumptions?
Yeah, it's a good question, and this is the first question everybody is asking us. So we provide tools to the customers to benchmark our solution. We don't want them to trust what we say, but we provide tools. They can manually count next to our data. So while our data is counting, they can get their manual count and they can benchmark how accurate is our solution. And they can also do this for the tracking accuracy. And we have airports, we have customers in general that they present 98% accuracy on counting and less than a meter accuracy, even 30 centimeters some, on precise tracking. We try to motivate our customers to push us to improve.
Yeah. And you talked about a lot of different use cases for it there. Are there other potential use cases beyond what you talked about there into the future you could see?
We are passionate with robots. What we do actually is called SLAM in robotics.
Right.
For example, autonomous wheelchair that we see also here in the exhibition, they can obtain location using our solution.
Yeah.
So we can enable a bunch, a series of new use cases, so we can be a platform for all of these use cases in the future, because all of these use cases, especially robotics and mobile networks, they suffer because of localization. They need a very precise localization.
Okay, I understand. And what about, you talked about Munich Airport and San Diego Airport. Could you tell us a little bit about maybe some of the learnings from the implementations at both those locations, and perhaps what the differences are in how they're using the technology?
Oh, yeah, very big. Okay, I need more time.
Yeah, that's fine. Go for it.
San Diego Airport is more operational KPIs. They measure how long the people spend in security queue. They measure how accurate, how full is a flight, so we can quantify how many passengers are at the gate. So they know how many passengers are going to board every flight. They were clueless before. They had no idea.
Tell them.
Yeah, nobody shares this. Munich Airport, we are more in commercial KPIs. So we count how many people visit the stores and what is the conversion rate of the stores.
Yeah, okay, very good. Excellent. Does anyone have questions from the crowd before we let Georgia? Oh, we've got one here, I think. Yes, sir. Microphone to you.
So the data that you're getting from people's phones, they don't have to opt in. This is just the signal that the phone is sending out. That's kind of scary, but do people have the opportunity to shut that off and skew the data, or are you guys confident that anybody walking around with a phone, you guys can track, you guys can use it with your software?
So that is a very good question, and we are a German company, so we need to be aware of privacy. Okay, we are GDPR in a GDPR country, actually the strictest. I don't know if you are aware. Germany is the country that has the biggest income due to fines from GDPR. We came out from the university. We are also ethically driven not to violate the privacy of anybody. The manufacturers of every phone that is manufactured after 2014, they are forced to not to stream any personal identifier at any moment. So the data that we sense are absolutely anonymous, so they don't even fall into the privacy regulations. Don't be scared, because this is a much more anonymous way to track location, to get KPIs, than cameras. We have a lot of customers that they switched to us because they were previously fined because they were using cameras to do analytics. Our solution is proactively anonymous, so you don't have even to be audited. And if you visit our booth, I can show you reports that they were sent to us by data protection authorities because they want to switch a lot of things, like how the traffic jam is calculated. The way that the traffic jam is calculated today in the cities violates privacy because they take a photo of your license plate. We can do this in a more anonymous manner, so without violating anybody's privacy. Don't feel alarmed. Yes, in the past, the phone, what has happened with Facebook, you know what has happened with Google, etc. But today, since 2014, for more than a decade, every phone that has been manufactured is absolutely anonymous. There is no way to find somebody's privacy.